Good morning, boys and girls. Today we're going to learn about algebraic expressions and its special friend, the variable x. Good morning, boys and girls. Today we're going to learn about algebraic expressions and its special friend, the variable x. Now, before we start with the actual lesson on algebraic expressions, we need to know our definitions. So the simplest definition for an algebraic expression is a number sentence using numbers, math signs, and letters. There is no equal sign, therefore it is not a complete equation. Rather, it is a representation of the relationship. Now, where does our special friend the variable come in? Now, there can be a range of letters A, B, C, D till Z for our variables. But the most common one that we use in maths is X and Y. Our variables are numbers that we need to find or solve. Now, now in this slide, I'm actually going to show you guys an example of an algebraic expression, a very simple, easy one, so that you guys can actually understand where the variable comes into place in the algebraic expression. So if we take the example, if x is equals to 10, then in a number sentence, x minus 4 is equal to 6. Now, something that we've learned, or that's something that you need to learn about our variable x, or actually any variable in general, is that they always like to be alone. So you must always leave them alone. Now, in this case, we want to leave our x alone. So what we're going to do after the first step is we're going to put our x to one side, but the minus 4 can't remain by itself. It has to go next to another number, otherwise it will be by itself. So we move it next to the 6, but we can't just put minus 4 next to the 6. When it goes to the other side over the equal to sign, it changes operations. So instead of being minus, it will now be plus 4. If it was multiplication, it would then be divide 4. So therefore, we say x is equal to 6 plus 4, and therefore x is equal to 10. So as you can see, our variable is like a mystery box hiding any number. Okay, now to actually teach you guys about algebraic expressions, we have to use a real-world application that you guys can actually understand where the numbers fit in next to the letters. Because the moment we all see letters next to numbers, we become immediately confused. But once you actually analyze the expression, it is very simple to solve. We just need to learn how to do it in the most simplest, easiest way. So I bought a bag from the shop for the new school year. It's a purple bag, it has a rainbow, a heart, and a star on it. This bag is X, right? If my friend has a bag, it's the exact same bag, and she brings it to school, then it's now, instead of one bag, it's two bags. So instead of X, it'll be 2X. So that was the first step to our algebraic expression, that if we have one bag, it'll be x, but if we have two bags, it'll be 2x. Now we're going to say that we don't only have bags for the new school year, but we also have three new mini erasers. So as you can see in the equation on the side, when I made it into like a little white block, if you look at the white block on the side, we're going to see that we have two bags plus our three erasers. Therefore, it will be 2x, because there's now two bags, plus 3, the 3 erasers. In this case, the 2 is the coefficient, meaning that we say 2 multiplied by x. So that, I hope I helped you guys understand where variables come into place into algebraic expressions in the last two slides. In this case, in this slide, we're actually going to solve an algebraic expression, 2x plus 3. In this case, 2 is the coefficient of x. This means that 2 is multiplied by x. But this doesn't mean in just this case. It can be in any case. For example, 5y plus 2. In that case, 5 will be the coefficient of y, meaning 5 times y, or 5 multiplied by y. Now, before we actually move on to solving this equation, we have to realize that whenever there is an equal to sign, there must be a number on the other side. Now, in this case, when we don't have a number, we substitute it for variable. Now, this can be any letter, A, B, C, D, but in this case, we're just going to use Y, which is the most common one. So we say 2 multiplied by x plus 3 equals to y. There's an equal to sign, but since we don't have a number, we're just going to use a variable, and our variable is y, substituting for the number. Now, the reason why we add a extra variable, or the reason why we need an extra answer, is that we can actually figure out, using the y, we can actually figure out the value of x. So we then say 2 multiplied by x plus 3 minus 3 equals to y minus 3. Now you may be wondering why we suddenly switch to minus, but if you remember what I told you before, that when something is moved to the other side, we always switch operations. Therefore, in this case, we say 3 minus 3 and y minus 3. After that, we have to say, well, we can't just leave the 2 multiplied by 2, we have to switch it, which is division. So we say 2x minus 2 equals to 3 minus 3 is obviously 0. So we leave that is equal to y minus 3 divided by 2. Why 2? Because 2 is the coefficient from the other side. We cannot just leave it divided by nothing. We have to divide it by 2. Then we say 2x divided by 2. The 2's cancel out on each other because 2 divided by 2 is 1. So it'll just be 1x. But whenever we have 1 something, 1x or 1y, we can just leave it as x or y. So therefore we just say x is equal to y minus 3 divided by 2. Now we still have to figure out the y and the minus 3 and divided by 2. Now this is going to sound a bit tricky, but this is kind of like a guessing game where we have to guess the y in order to solve the sum. And I'm going to show you guys how to actually know if you guys are right at the end of the slide. So obviously we're going to guess low numbers. We can't guess like in the 50s because these are all low numbers. So let's start off with 8. We can say y is 8. So we're going to say x is equal to 8 minus 3, which is 5, divided by 2, which is 2 comma 5. Now that doesn't really seem right, because if I now say 2 times 2 comma 5 plus 3, it doesn't make sense at all because it gives me 8, right? So now we actually have to try and solve it. So we're going to say, let's just say 11 minus 3